One.
Welcome back, folks, to Realm of Racing, and yes, tonight we are here at Suzuka, the Japan Grand Prix, a figure eight circuit where we've seen some of the most iconic and drama-filled moments in the sport's history, where in back-to-back years in '89 and 1990, where Senna and Prost came together to decide the championship. Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing from this weekend between Max and Lewis. Nonetheless, Suzuka, a lap that's very challenging, but also very satisfying with the windy S section of turn 1, or sector 1, all the way to turn 11 of the tight left hairpin that leads you into the spoon curve and the long backstretch into 130R, and a good overtaking opportunity in the final chicane. Should be on for a good one. And with me, as always, Hunter, how are you feeling?
Yes, sir. Man, I mean, one of my favorite tracks. I say that every week. We know this. It's my thing. But no,
This
Japan,
one really is, though.
Japan is really, it's really one of the best circuits.
I can attest to you definitely mentioning Japan many a times.
Yeah, the track is just amazing. And I mean, of course, you guys can see we've got intermediate weather right now, so this is going to shake up the grid a little bit. It's also fair to mention David not able to make it to tonight's race, so our championship leader kind of on the back foot. I mean, he's up by about 10 points. Well, let's just say David has 175 points, Tails has 165, Groovy has 151, and TC has 146. So, I mean, this championship is still wide open with the top 3 guys within 29 points. So, if any one of those 3 guys grabs a win tonight, they can take the lead in the championship. So
yeah, David could go from being first to third just like that.
Right. More than likely safe against TC, obviously with the 29-point lead over TC, but still, let's say TC was to win this race, that is huge for him in his bid to try to get back into the championship, into the thick of things. But obviously, as we know, TC's actually DNF'd before we even started recording. So we don't know what happened. I wasn't on board with him. So yeah, no idea what happened there.
Yeah, so he'll already be working off of his back foot from the start, but still, though, we've seen many a good drive so far from him this season, though.
Very true. Very true.
Look at underrated in second place so far with a 138-1.
I was just about to say, yeah, that's a great lap from him. I think actually Tails on a quick lap right now too. Yeah, Tails now has pole with a 138.033. The times will start tumbling down as we get farther along in this session. We don't know if it's going to be a dry or a wet race, but obviously right now we've got some greasy conditions, as I like to say, as it looks Tails is pulling out of that lap.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty nasty out there for him. I'm sure a lot of guys are feeling the conditions right now, getting a little slippery and sliding around out there a lot. But
yeah, and I also do want to mention, I would think the constructors is probably over. I think David and Tails have done more than enough at this point. They have 333 points, and I think second is at 256 points. So they would have to really have, like 3 or 4 stinkers to, get rid of that lead that they have so far. But we've seen crazier.
True, but it is almost, it's hard to say a sure thing, but if there is closest thing to it right now, if they keep up this form.
Right.
Yeah, I've just seen a lot of guys seem like they keep validating on certain laps.
Canadian hops into P2 to the 138.166. Still about a 10th and some change behind Tails. Oh, Groovy going into the hairpin, locking up a little bit, but getting the car rotated in. Smooth on the throttle. That hairpin already difficult to get the traction down in the dry, and it's that much more difficult in greasy conditions.
That's definitely one of the turns that I've struggled with the most on this track, that hairpin.
Right, and we also got to mention Milky coming in for a little return. Haven't seen him in a while. Obviously, I think he made his exit early on in the season. I think in doing basketball or I don't know, something that he won't continue with later in life. But anyway, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Follow your dreams, boys and girls. Milky Hops Pole tells me to shut up right now. He takes pole with a 138.021. That's absolutely hilarious timing. But if in the return he can somehow, it maybe mix up the championship.
Put the ball down.
J-Mick also in P3 on a 138.0. So the young guns in the league making a little bit of noise at the front of the pack right now. We'll see how they fare later. I think that was a Mercedes that was around. Might have been Vapor. Ooh, I think there's just been contact between the McLaren and the Mercedes. I don't think the Mercedes was out of the way. Thunder. Yeah, it looks like Thunder picking up some damage on that front wing.
Oh yeah, he definitely has some damage on the right side.
He's got the Lewis front wing from Saudi Arabia. Maybe he'll be faster in a straight line. Who knows?
Yeah, Lewis seemed to keep quite a bit of speed there, but we'll see if Thunder's able to do the same.
Right. So like, what I officially, I don't know if it was how accurate it was, but from what I heard, Lewis lost 0.4 a lap from that wing damage and was still. Like, he was down for about 2 laps, and I think he just, like, snapped something, and he just started putting in fastest laps. Yeah,
he's shown a couple of times this season, again, why he has that many titles underneath his belt.
Like, you can say what you want about Lewis. I personally love Lewis, but Celestial, you can back me up on this. You know for a fact I want Max to get his first. I've been rooting for Max all season. But I mean, you just can't deny some of the things that we have seen Lewis do. I mean, last year at Turkey, this year at Imola. Of course, Saudi Arabia was an insane race. So, yeah.
Brazil. Yeah, no, there's been a couple times where he shows why he is considered a GOAT amongst many.
I mean, he has to be, yeah. And it shows how good Max Verstappen is as well.
Exactly.
They're both alien. So Azure improves a little bit, goes up to P6, and Canadian takes provisional pole position with about 5 minutes left to go. 137.5. We've seen a lot of guys hop into that pole position, so the times are extremely close. Even though they seem spread apart, it's just because the track is ramping up, it's evolving, and some of these guys are a little bit off the normal, I guess, rotation, especially Canadian, since he had to join, or he had to leave and then come back. So off the rotation, so he's basically got the most rubber in the track right now, but we'll see what some of the other guys are able to do. I think Bio going into the pits, it looks like
Underrated just started the hot lap right now.
Yeah, let's take a look at Underrated. Stays very far away from those curbs on the left. This time going a little bit closer, kissing the apex, goes wide. This is such a difficult. Those curbs are very sketchy, especially
car gets upset just a tiny bit.
Very easy.
It's just so easy to do.
And I think he's pulled out.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it looks like he's backing out of it.
Yeah, made a couple mistakes. Very easy to do. It actually looks like it's. Does it look blued? It looks blue.
I was about to say a little bit of sun coming out potentially, a little bit of the clouds spreading. But then, as I say that, this camera view has a ton of spray on it.
We'll see if this maybe impacts the end of the session. If somebody is able to maybe get out on a pair of softs, who knows? I don't know. I can't tell if it's really loosening up that much. The rain kind of looks the same as it's been.
4 minutes remaining. Potentially, the sky looks like it's clearing up, but the track still looks like it's getting the same amount of drops on it, though.
Yeah. Checking in with Tito right now. I think he's on a fast lap right now. Let's see. Going up the back straight now. He's not taking the inside line. I would usually be hugged up against that left line, so maybe he's not completely pushing. Just a little lift. Just a little lift. I was about to say, a
minor lift through there, even in the wet like that.
Oh, no, he doesn't even attempt to make. So, yeah. Oh! Does he? So yeah, so he probably wasn't completely pushing. See,
that was how the track was meant to be designed, but
I think Gustavo is on a fast lap. I can't tell. Once you're past your first lap out, I can't tell, especially with some of the guys doing, you know, multiple in-laps, multiple out-laps on the same tires. It can be kind of tough.
Yes, he has a minor lockup there.
Yay,
Oh, and loses
gets a
the
big
back end.
snap. Probably gonna have to pull out of that lap. That's a big chunk of time lost. Probably about 3 or 4 tenths. While you might not think it, at least in qualifying, that little section is like a straight, so time all the way down.
Oh yeah,
double left-hander. And yeah, he's gonna.
Looks like he's definitely backing out, but yeah, major amount of time though you can lose right there. Was that Hewlett going by?
Yeah,
he
I just popped on board with him. Let's see how he takes 130R flat out. I don't think there was a lift there. Takes it comfortable. Ooh, locking up.
Still more grip out there.
Using a little bit of curve. That was pretty tidy. Hugged the inside. Doesn't seem to improve. And that's his 4th lap on these tires. Doesn't look, so it looks like Bio's coming out of the pits and he's coming out on intermediate, so he's not gonna try to put on a set of softs. I don't think it's quite dry enough.
Yeah, it looks like no one's gonna take that chance at the moment. There's a moment from, I missed him. Oh, okay, there it is. Hewlett, as he's spinning around trying to get it back on track, gets out the way of one Ferrari.
And Gelfie's surprisingly low right now at 13. Maybe just choosing, you know, a lot of strat. It can really mess up somebody's flow when it's only wet for one session. When you really want to lock into a setup, it can really kind of mess things up. So some of these guys, depending on what they know from, you know, there's a lot of traffic in front of Gelfie. Depending on what they know from the little weather thing that they're given, they don't know if it's going to be traffic. Yeah, this is kind of ugly. You need to get out the way really quick.
Oh, and contact between two of them.
Contact.
Yeah, but no,
what the weather.
I agree with you though.
So they might be sticking with the dry setups. They might be going slightly wet setups. Who knows?
I was one to always, if it was going to be a dry race, I would always just stick with my dry setup and compromise myself in quality, obviously.
Right. Yeah, that is the way I think most drivers choose to go. So he stays flat out, but he chooses to do a downshift.
Coming across now, see where this puts. Does improve, but only up to P10 though.
Yeah, and if it's dry, they're all going to start on fresh tires. So Canadian's still on pole position right now with a 137.5. Nobody really that close to him. Tails and Bio about 3 tenths behind him. Milky about 2 tenths behind them. And as I switch onto him, it seems like everybody's in the grass.
And a couple guys just retired there.
Bio
on
has
track.
Invalidated. Canadian's going to be close to the line.
Oh, and he locks up the fronts there.
I'm just trying to get. I just want to see what Sector 2 Tails is able to do.
Canadian tried to go into pits there, missed the pit lane.
Oh.
Was going to hit the wall, so he just avoided it. Collects the outside wall there on the front stretch.
So J-Mick hops into P2 with the 137.7 and Groovy's in P3 with the 137.8. But Tails might have something to say about that. He just said a purple second sector. He's heading into the last chicane. He just has to get out of these few corners cleanly.
Rides it pretty good there.
Hug the line. And he's going to take
pole!
137.4. A whole tenth and a half, actually more than a tenth and a half ahead of Canadian with the 137.5. So our grid, I believe, is set. Actually, no, Bio's coming. Oh no, he's gonna end up missing that last corner. So yeah, now that is going to conclude our
That's a little
qualifying
Sebastian Vettel passing in the pit lane there.
So it is Tails on pole, Canadian in P2, J-Mick in P3, Groovy P4, Bio P5, Azure in P6, Tito in P7, Milky in P8, Most Underrated in P9, Vapor P10, filling out our top 10. So Gelfie on, well, yeah, P11 for Gelfie, P12 for Routine, Blood Gustavo P13, Hulette P14, Thunder P15, Nander P16, and one of our title challengers, Total Carney, starting in the very back of the grid.
Yeah, no, we've seen that a couple times from Gelfie, having just not the best qualifying, but a lot of times able to work himself back up there.
Yeah, his
see
race
if he's
pace is
able.
usually there.
Yeah, see if he's able to do that again as well for his teammate TC, who's obviously we've seen the last couple of weeks had just quite a bit of unfortunate luck, wrong place, wrong time, and I'm sure starting in the back was not what he had in mind, but
No, I completely agree with you. I think I'm most interested to see what the weather is going to be heading into this race. I almost assume it's going to be dry, but you never know. Could get a double wet session. Who knows?
and wouldn't that be something? A little bit of wet and then a dry finish, but
Oh yeah, I would love a little, switcheroo. I mean, we're getting up there in round counts. It feels weird, We're around 17 of 24, I believe.
yeah, it's gone quick.
Yeah,
Kind of this last few rounds definitely seem like they're gone quick.
And who knows? We still need to try to get Russia out of the way. As it looks like, yeah, it'll be dry. It's a little bit cloudy, but it does look dry for the moment. Yeah, just we'll see what happens with Russia. I think there's still a chance that we just end up canceling Russia, but I think in the spirit
Which I'm
of
sure,
racing,
I'm sure many of the drivers won't mind that, but
no, I think they'll be fine. I think they would be perfectly fine with missing out on Russia, but we'll see what happens here in this race. A couple of seconds till we get our formation lap underway. Predicted pit stop telling us, obviously it's a one stop, but will weather come hold of things. So yeah,
trying to pull up the tires right now.
Tails choosing medium.
Yeah, so Tails going to be followed up by two soft runners, Canadian and J-Mick running softs, then medium for 4 through 6, and then a few more soft runners, so
yeah, nice
kinda
little
split.
bunch. Yeah, a bunch of different strategies here, so let's see what happens. Total Carney chooses to stay on the start on the medium back of the grid.
Yeah, no, I don't really, the best optimized strategy, what you saying, one stop here?
Yeah, I would say, I think a soft to medium is possible. I don't know. I actually don't know. This is one of the few tracks I do. I don't think you need. It was a soft to hard last year.
That's what I was just trying to remember last year. I definitely haven't raced
hard last
50% Japan yet this season.
Right, and when I did mine, it was wet. So, yeah. So I'm not sure. I do think for some reason, I think a soft to medium is possible, but obviously, the predicted pit thing was telling us medium to hard and soft to hard. So we'll see. Maybe these softs just won't last. I don't know, but I think because they're starting on fresh tires, I think some of them might go for a little soft to medium. Too bad our boy
True.
David isn't here, because you know damn well he would go.
Oh yeah, he would definitely try to stretch it. Definitely a lot of high speed though here. Probably giving a lot of tire wear, but
So somehow Nander is on the grid by himself. Usually it's two people. You'd have to, you know, touch somebody for that to happen. But look at this, the two front guys are on the grid so much earlier, so they're going to be staying for a little bit. And they've got, you know, J-Mick right behind him on the softs. Groovy's in a perfect position where he's got medium runners behind him. He just has to keep them behind him. And he could maybe get J-Mick and Canadian later.
yeah, we've seen him stay there, make a bunch of positions. As it looks like we're almost getting ready. The revs are rising and the lights are out this time, and away we go. Tails gets a good jump.
Tails, here comes Canadian.
Oh, J-Mick tries to run off the Ferrari here.
Williams, Groovy, going side by side. It looks like the top 5 are all through cleanly. I think Bio just got a position on Azure, the Red Bull right behind Azure. Everybody through cleanly. A couple positions being lost and gained.
Yeah, Groovy under pressure from the Red Bull from behind now. Stays in front.
Let's see here. Yeah, Groovy.
They're all kind of single filing a little bit.
Like I said, he just needed to. Oh, we got a yellow flag. It's the AlphaTauri. It's Nander. But he's back and running. No need for a safety car or VSC there. Ooh, Groovy challenging J-Mick on those softs, because J-Mick is right on the back of Canadian and Tails. So Tails,
yeah, he's gonna have a big run here.
Oh boy, the top 3. So maybe Tails holding these guys up a bit on the mediums. This might be interesting, because if these soft runners are able to get past Tails early in the race, they might be able to just get a big enough gap. And here comes
big run. Canadian's gonna dip down to the inside here.
They're gonna go through 30R side by side. They have a little touch. They're still side by side. Tails. Oh, they're getting a little bit of touching.
Oh, and now the 3 wide. J-Mick's gonna make that move too as well. They're side by side.
But here comes Tails back on J-Mick again. Who's gonna have the? They're fighting for the.
Oh, this is
exciting. They're gonna go side by side. J-Mick goes a little bit wide onto the curbs. Tails is still on the inside. They're still side by side. This is amazing, crazy. J-Mick's gonna take the line in, but he gets a little bit squirrely. He keeps it together though, and I think he still has P2 under wraps. So Tails losing 2 positions before the end of lap 2. This could be a big deal. Now Groovy right on the back of Tails.
Yeah, Groovy's looking super optimistic too. That was great racing right there. Able to just minor wheel-to-wheel contact there, which is almost inevitable going through some of them corners right there, but great racing to keep it clean.
Yeah, so our biggest winners and losers.
Oh, Groovy has a little bit of a moment there.
Oh, sorry.
No, he just has a little bit of a moment there. Now Bio is going to be right there on the back.
Oh, yeah, he is challenging, but Bio is actually also under pressure from Groovy's teammate, Azure, right behind him. So
yeah, I think Bio checked up.
That's a good backup to have.
Groovy had a little bit of a moment, and Bio kind of lifted just enough there.
Look at this. J-Mick still right, pretty close to Canadian, showing really good race pace early in this stint, actually setting a purple sector for that middle sector there. So the McLaren coming alive, and he was talking to me the other night. I think he just had a little bit of a snap there on the last corner. But he's talking to me the other night saying how determined he was to get a win at some point this season, and maybe he's feeling like this could be his chance to get one of those wins in the bag.
Yeah, he is attacking super hard right now.
He seems kind of getting squirrely. He's definitely feeling confident. Hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt him, because I've seen him over push sometimes, and he's just got to stay within his limits. Just stay here. You're on the soft tires. You're going to have to pit before these guys, so just focus on your task at hand, which is staying with Canadian, who is also on the softs, because he's got Tails right at the back of him.
I was just about to mention, as we see Tails, who is still staying with them, and Groovy not falling back too far as well for the time being.
Yellow flag, yellow flag. That is the AlphaTauri having another off, and he is back and running, so he is okay. But as I was saying, there's so many battles. They're still so close together, so tight. The entire pack basically separated by under a second. There's only a couple people that have knocked off that DRS gap that they need, but some of the big losers, Tito Sampson down 5 positions, so he did not have a good start down in P12. Thunder up a couple positions. Oh, go on.
No, here comes most underrated on Milky there. A beautiful move, though. No, like you're saying, though, everybody's super close. There's battles going on all over the places. DRS is about to be enabled for this upcoming lap, though.
Yeah, J-Mick falling back a little bit, but they have the DRS now, so he's going to be able to kind of relax now, but still, Tails being able to stay on the back of this pack is really important because he's the only one of them on the mediums. Him and Groovy are still definitely a danger to J-Mick and Canadian. J-Mick and Canadian are not building the gap that you would think they would be able to on the softs, so an undercut may be definitely coming because Groovy and Tails, if they are able to put on the softs at the end, or maybe just a lot fresher hards, depending on what they decide to do, then it's gonna be interesting towards the end.
Yeah, because they're not really falling back. If anything, they're just making a push on J-Mick here. It looks like Tails every time staying roughly about a half a second back. And as I peek at J-Mick's ERS, he has deployed quite a bit of it so far.
Yeah, that is important. You need to kind of plan out your ERS. It looks like Tails and Groovy kind of at the same amount of... Oh, Bio's
dropping down. I was about to say.
Yeah, Bio's dropped down the order, and he's got a penalty also for a collision with Milky. So he picks up a 5-second penalty. But yeah.
Wow, they are all super close back here. They're almost 5 wide going out of 130R. Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness!
Super pack.
This is a insane pack. Milky shoots into the pits.
Thunder's got a huge run coming on the Haas.
And there's so many cars. I don't think he's gonna have the move done. It's so hard to pass on a track like this. The best place is probably to save your ERS and try to get it done on the back straight into 130R. But also that can cause issues too. 130R is not the funnest corner to be side by side in.
Well, they were about not necessarily 5 wide, but they were about 3 wide and about. It looked like 2 rows of that going through there. That was kind of chaotic, but everybody seemed to stay clean and no damage.
Yeah, so it looks like the gap. So it's the top 6, and then the gap kind of gets larger towards Vapor. These guys are about 3 seconds behind. So the gaps are starting to widen out a little bit. I think after there was a incident earlier that may have spread out the pack to maybe a little bit of. A few incidents, but anyway,
yeah,
we still have a very good battle going on.
Looks like J-Mick got overtaken by Tails and Groovy.
Yeah, so something happened there. Not sure what, and yeah, J-Mick's very, very low on the ERS, so he just needs to keep it cool. Do not do anything rash. Maybe try for an undercut. We remember back to Great Britain, TC got one of the undercut of all undercuts. It worked to a charm, so maybe somebody can try to do something with the strategy, but we'll see, because track position is going to be extremely important. Obviously, Canadian on the soft.
Oh, and Routine comes together with Tito, and Tito's into the wall there.
Oh no!
That was. Routine was making a move on Not Sir Vapor into turn 1, runs wide, comes back onto the track and collects the Haas. Oh, and now a Ferrari is into the wall there. Who is that?
That must be Bio. That is Bio.
Oh, and he's going backwards.
Yeah, that must have been Bio. Where is he at on track? He's in the S's, so yeah, must have clipped a curb. So easy to do. And that's a virtual safety car.
Yeah, so who is going to take advantage of this as there's a car just sitting on track. Looks like Alpatari is just sitting in the middle of the track here. Oh.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on. Yeah, okay. Okay, he's moving. That was weird.
We'll see how much. It did look like there was quite a bit of damage sitting on the track, so they're gonna bring out.
Oh yeah, it's the
Full safety car now.
Nander retires. So Canadian shoots into the pits. Tails does get into the pits. Groovy ends up staying out. J-Mick is into the pits. Underrated stays. Azure goes into the pits. He might... Okay, so no, Groovy did stay out, so he won't be double stacking. Not Sir Vapor stays out. So this changes a few things. What tires will these guys be putting on?
Tails goes onto the hard tire. Let's see. Canadian goes onto the medium set of tires.
Yeah, Canadian on the medium, Tails on the hards. J-Mick goes on another pair of softs. He's just spun it! He's just spun it! He needs to get it back around. He's just saved it. I think he's good. I think he's good. Come on, 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 come on. Okay. Woo! Woo! Look, J-Mick, keep it. No! J-Mick, keep it on track, buddy. Keep it on track. He loses
There's one position there, but just needs to settle down and keep the car underneath them for a minute and get the tires back cooled down.
Oh, my hands are...
As we've seen him take out a board marker.
My head
At least it was not a braking marker.
Oh my goodness. When I saw it go off again, I was like, no, no, no. Oh man.
Looks like he didn't collect anything, so no damage for J-Mick in the term, but
I need to get another look at his right floor. Like, I think the right side of his floor. It kind of looks like he has a little shark bite out of it. Okay, no, I think that's normal. Yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's okay. I think the left side of his floor does have, like, maybe like
it does almost look like the left side has a little bit to it.
I can't tell if it's just bad graphics and it's like the floor. So
true.
So yeah, J-Mick now is this is gonna help out Groovy tremendously. So J-Mick now behind Groovy's a teammate, Azure, who's ahead. Tails is ahead of him, so Tails puts on the hards. Obviously isn't planning to pit again. Canadian, I'm not sure what he plans to do with the mediums. It might be a little bit risky, but we've seen him do this where he gets really aggressive off of the start, and then he gets a big enough gap. But I think the problem here is that he's in P6. So he's gonna have
to do some overtaking.
He's got, you know, TC ahead of him. He's got Thunder, Not So Vapor, underrated, none of which are any of his teammates. So he's got to do some overtaking here if he wants to make this strategy work till the end, because he's gonna need some room, some margin for error at the end if he wants to make these last the whole way.
Yeah, and Thunder's the only one on the soft tires there, so I imagine the mediums will at least do, I don't know, what would you say, another 5, 6 plus more. Obviously, you could push it longer, maybe 8 laps.
I would think so. The softs would probably rein in toward, I would think 9 or 10 laps. Like, I think.
Oh, and somebody else is going around.
Who's that? Is that underrated?
Oh, no, it's underrated.
Oh, J-Mick probably trying to get a position back, maybe, but no, just barely misses out. So if people struggle.
Underrated was in second place, I think.
Oh, was
he's gonna drop all the way down to 8th place now, or is he gonna be able to?
I bet. Oh no, I hope there wasn't a desk slam with that one, because that one might be. Yeah, that's tough, because, well, yeah, he's gonna be on older tires, and he's gonna be completely surrounded by guys on brand new tires. So, tough deal, tough deal. I think the safety car should come in the lap. Yeah, Thunder, I think Thunder may have resisted pitting because of his teammate. Obviously J-Mick did pit. So yeah, safety car coming in this lap, so Ruby will lead us off. But yeah, I think Thunder maybe just didn't really have that much of a choice. So we'll see what happens here. See how, if Groovy can get a lead, or if any of the guys... Whoa, 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 whoa! In a little bit.
Vapor getting a little.
And there's a 5-second
Using
penalty.
all the
Tails
track.
picks up a 5-second penalty for a collision with Canadian, and Canadian also picks up a 5-second penalty.
Wow. The 2 penalties. Groovy jumps out early, and he's already got a big gap. Monster Vapor, almost 7/10 of a second back already.
Yeah, and Thunder also almost already a second behind Vapor, so those softs not really doing too well off the restart, but maybe he can get them warmed up again and put them in a place to possibly challenge these 2 guys ahead of him. But TC right behind him, Canadian obviously threatening, but now has a 5-second penalty along with Tails. And I wonder if maybe there's any damage. It was probably just a little touch, but we'll see if the stewards also maybe come into effect after the race.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to affect both of their races now. And somebody already
That's a Williams.
goes off.
That's a Williams just got really wide, and here comes J-Mick. J-Mick's going down the inside, and he does get the job done. So J-Mick must have lost a position or two because he had to remake that position up. He's still behind Underrated, who obviously had that mistake during the safety car, but they're still pretty close. All of them still within a second of each other, but Groovy has a 1.5-second advantage over Not So Vapor.
Yeah, he had a very brilliant start there. Kind of caught, I don't know if Vapor, after he got up on the grass, maybe Groovy seen that and just kind of just took advantage of that and just went ahead and decided
And look at this,
to
Thunder.
hit it right then.
Ooh, Thunder got a little bit wide, but look at this. Thunder might be able to make
Got
this
a
move
giant
done.
toe.
He's still got the softs working apparently, and I think he's gonna get this move done. Yes, he does. He
Looks
needs to
like
just
it,
keep
yes.
Yes, he does. He gets this job done. Just needs to keep everything on track, keep it tidy. And Thunder sitting in P2. So that is well done from Thunder. And look at this, Canadian and TC.
Yeah, Canadian's right on the back. Tails right behind him too. Super
They're
close
catching
for
up
the
to Not So
3.
Vapor so close, or so quickly. I can't get my words out.
Yeah, rapid pace coming.
So
Rapid pace
So
here.
the difference in tires coming into effect, but let's see here what happens. Yeah, if I were him, I would try to go on the inside of here right now. No, he's not going to be able to brake late enough. And TC's right on the back. He has to kind of pull out of the throttle. Here comes Canadian.
He's going to try to dip down to the outside here.
And Vapor's giving Canadian the toe as well, so that's helping him.
Yeah, he's going to be able to
try,
make it.
But no defense.
Oh no, and TC's going to now have to defend against Tails as well there.
Yeah, Tails
wisely backed out.
But yeah, pulling out wisely. But here comes J-Mick on Tails. There's so much going on up and down the field. If J-Mick's able to get this move done, this could be big. They touch a little bit. He goes a little bit wide.
Oh, and he slides. Tails is into the wall. And he's
Tails is big damage. Gelfie's out too. Gelfie's been collected.
Oh, and another car! Bio collects into him as... Oh, no.
And I think Tito is also out. That's going to be a safety car.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
And thankfully, this isn't real life.
Oh, you are not kidding. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
They were coming around the blind corner. Didn't know, I don't believe, that the cars were coming back on. They were just coming back on the track so quick off of the wall.
I didn't see what happened, but I saw Tails. I wish I had the broadcast view. I was on board with Tails, so I just saw him getting clobbered. I saw Gelfie get the hit, but I didn't see what happened to Tails, or not Tails, Tito and Bio. But that's unfortunate.
Gelfie was still in the middle of the track, running with just one wheel. You know, obviously no control of the car. And somebody collected the back of him. I'm not sure if it was Tito or what, but then he went into the wall and then came back onto the track right in front of Bio. You know, no control of the car, obviously. His stuff just sliding along for the ride. And like you mentioned, though, thankfully it was not a real-life wreck, because that would be one that would keep you holding your breath there.
That would have been a scary one. But yeah, so J-Mick already was able to dash into the pits, and I'm wondering, I don't know if they're on the Delta right now. It kind of looks like it, because he's slowing down massively. They almost touch him and Underrated. But that's very smart of him, because I think the mediums can go 16 laps, and probably, 14, maybe 15 after the safety car is all said and done. So
yeah, you might as well go ahead and do it right now.
Be, in the right place at the right time here. We'll see where he gets, Groovy gets a 5-second speeding in the pit lane, so that's gonna affect his race. So he's even now with Canadian, but Canadian's gonna end up, I think, serving it. No, well, no, he doesn't go into the pits, so he hasn't served that 5-second penalty
Yeah,
yet.
so it's Canadian gonna look to push these. He's already got 4 laps on his mediums, but obviously a couple of like only really 1 lap of racing, but or 2 laps of racing.
So this will be interesting. So Nazi Vapor now leading the race, deciding to stay out on those mediums. So him and Total Carney right now are on the oldest set of tires on the track. So yeah, Groovy is leading the way of the safety car pitters. See what happens here. Yeah, I'm interested. I just want to get back to racing because the battling was so good. I think it's very, very unfortunate what happened there with the Io, Tails, Tito, all those guys, Gelfie.
Yeah, no, there's. I feel for a couple of them. There are. I mean, they just were coming around, a blind corner where it was so much speed and there's nowhere to go with cars coming back onto the track when you have no control of it.
And Gelfie was basically in the middle of the track, and Tails was just trying to get off the track, and so you couldn't go to the outside and he couldn't be in the middle, so the only way was on the inside, and it was probably so tight for the boys to get through that. So yeah, you just can't really fault anyone there. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll see some stewards, but yeah, I couldn't. From my point, I couldn't necessarily. Oh, that's a late call for the safety car.
I was about to say they're ending. I was not even ready for this.
He's just gonna go. So here he goes.
Yeah,
Canadian
Vapor
gets a good restart as well, though. Canadian not too far behind. I don't know if he'll be close enough to get one done.
Tries to go to the inside and outside. Maybe tries to sell a little.
This seemed to have caught some people off guard because the gaps are actually kind of a little bit larger than you would expect during a restart, but everybody's kind of closing in on who they should be. But Groovy's showing real pace here behind Hewlett on the mediums, but obviously he's going to have to make up for. Oh, there's a yellow flag. What's that from? That's
Gustavo's going off, and he's got left side damage to the wing, it looks like.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on Tails because obviously he's going to be on one hell of a charge. He's going to be very aggressive trying to get past people. We'll keep an eye on him. But yeah, Vapor's actually keeping Canadian at bay for the time being, but we'll see.
Ooh. Oh, Groovy does make that move on Hewlett there. Gets a little bit squirrely as he does it.
Yeah, so somehow
Milky's gonna make it too.
Into P5. And yeah,
Milky just steadily, quietly. Sometimes, like you mentioned before, though, quiet race most of the time, so ends up being a good one though for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm most interested here for J-Mick because yeah, he's right on the back of who is this? Is this Groovy? Yeah. So, and even though Groovy's on fresh softs, J-Mick's showing some real pace here on these fresh mediums. And I think J-Mick will make it to there, and he sets the fastest lap. I think he'll make it to the end of the race on these mediums. Oh, the McLaren, I think, getting ahead of him. Who was that? I thought I saw somebody going side by side, but I must be seeing.
I think it was Thunder getting around underrated there.
Actually, Canadian got around Notzer Vapor as well.
Oh, and there's a bunch of battles going on here.
And yeah, Milky, look at Milky and Routine. Routine trying to get around Milky into the first Degna, but it's so tight there. No space. Milky gets a time penalty for exceeding track limits, and all 4 of these guys are so tight together. There's really not much in it here. Groovy's going to send one down the inside. There's going to be contact. Routine's got to spin it around. He saves the car before he collects J-Mick. But he's going to lose the place, and that's really well done to Routine to keep the car. Because he was on this great trajectory to collect a couple of guys, including J-Mick, but kept it together.
Quite a sin there from Groovy.
Groovy's going here. Groovy on Milky here now, the old teammates. And I think he's going to have
not
this
much
done.
of a fight from the Red Bull, maybe the old little bit of sportsmanship there.
Right.
But J-Mick is still just following Groovy along as he goes to the inside of Milky.
Has he just spun around? No, but he's going to keep it together. He's going to get the job done on the Red Bull. Milky's going to lose a position not only to J-Mick, but to Routine as well. And so Groovy is into P4. And he's right behind. Oh, TC is so close to Not So Vapor. He needs to get this job done as soon as possible because he could really do with getting this this overtake done because eventually if he gets done here by Groovy, he's going to lose a lot more time than he wants to. So he's got to keep him here, but Groovy's all over the back of him.
Super close through the first sector. Yeah, TC is just trying to get by Vapor and TC both on 14-lap old mediums though at the time. So they're just hoping probably for another safety car too, but yeah, great driving here from a lot of the boys here.
Yeah, still staying in place. J-Mick still challenging behind as well. Routine falling back behind them a little bit on the hards. Milky's probably wanting to get past him as soon as possible because he is on the same lap old but fresh lower compound on the medium, so we'll see what happens there. But here comes this quad.
Oh, TC thinks about going. He thought about going to the outside.
Look how much time they lost. Routine's right on the back of them now. Yeah,
a little bit of concertine effect there. TC had to check up. Groovy had to check up.
Here comes TC!
As well.
Oh!
He dips down to the inside, super close.
No! TC's around!
Spinning.
He has to keep it together. He keeps it on track! He keeps it on track!
Beautiful save there!
But he's going to be side by side with J-Mick. J-Mick pulls out. J-Mick's almost spinning around.
Wow, what a drive there from TC. Off track their turn one, almost facing the complete wrong direction. Able to just only lose one position to Groovy.
I think a couple of guys gonna need a new set of underwear after this race because, especially Groovy getting a little bit squirrely out of the second Dagna, and we're into the hairpin now. Can we possibly see Vapor doing such a good job of just keeping these guys behind? But can Groovy get this move done? He's on the softs. I think he's gonna be able to challenge for it.
Yeah, he dips to the outside here, and yeah, he makes the move.
Vapor really doesn't even challenge. He probably knew that he wasn't going to be able to do much with that move as he goes a little bit wide. Gets onto the curbs. This might give TC a little opening because TC's gaining quickly. And TC has a lot of ERS to work with.
Yeah, he is right there on
He's going to go down the inside. Oh, a little tap. He's still going to send it down the inside. Another tap, and TC is around.
He spins it.
Oh,
and he spins it back around now, but wow, that's reminiscent of a center pros right there.
Yeah, just the smallest of taps, though. It's just mainly, I think you mainly fault the system that we've been given on that one.
Yeah, that was no fault of TC's there.
Tap. Yeah.
As we just seen only a lap or two ago, the driving abilities that he has, but he was obviously unable to save the car when you have no control on one of these slow spins like that. But
so now, look at this, J-Mick. We were talking about he just needed to keep it calm, cool, and collected, and he's doing just that. Now he's right on the back of Vapor, and he's not going to be close enough into the hairpin, but he's put himself in a great position to at least get a podium. Whoa, he's a little bit squirrely out of the hairpin there. But he's gonna keep it together.
And even behind them, Underrated gets by Hewlett, and now it's right on the back to a Thunder.
And J-Mick gets a really good drive out of the second double left, and here he comes.
Yeah, he's got a lot
he might
of
get it done before the 130R. I think he's comfortably ahead now. So J-Mick in the provisional podium spot. Not going to have to even put up much of a defense. Here comes Vapor, but he's getting a little bit close.
And Vapor gets a
I didn't
penalty
even see
during
him
that.
go off track.
I was gonna say, oh, and Jamin gets a little bit squirrely though on the straightaway.
Yeah, I
Or
wonder what's
out of
going
the
on
last
here. He's
turn.
lagging a little bit. I don't know what's going on here with J-Mig. Definitely some
Yeah,
lag
he hasn't been lagging this whole time, but yeah,
I
now
know.
definitely.
Yeah, he hasn't been lagging the whole race until now. But what other battles do we have? We've got a ROR right on the back of most underrated, and yeah, Hewlett just following behind them as well. TC trying to catch up after that spin. I don't think he has damage, but he does have a 3-second penalty now.
Yeah, underrated just trying to get back on the bumper of Thunder here, as they were having quite a battle earlier.
Yeah,
The second sector.
McLaren's in a great position for a good points haul here. Both of them having great races so far. We're seeing some penalties start to come in. Let me do a penalty check. So 5 seconds for the 2 leaders, obviously. 3 seconds for Vapor, 3 seconds for Milky, and 3 seconds for TC. We have a yellow flag. I think that's Gustavo. He's unfortunately in last place. He's having quite a struggle today. Yeah, J-Mix built up a 1 second gap to Vapor, so shouldn't have to worry about Vapor coming back at him anytime soon.
Oh, and Vapor's gonna go ahead and dip into the pits now.
You are right. Gonna throw on the soft tires. Where will he come out?
They're all getting super close. Thunder's super close. Oh, he has to back out of it there.
Whoa!
Oh, and the spinner from Milky!
The Red Bull! So that's another position gained. Look at this. So the McLaren's now with 3-4. And that'll also give TC a position.
Great avoidance and heads up driving there from Thunder and most underrated.
I didn't notice, but Tails is actually DNF'd.
Yeah, I think he decided to DNF. I didn't notice at first either, but I think he just... I don't know how much damage he had. He had to have picked up quite a significant amount of damage.
So if we were to take a look at things right this moment, Groovy right now in the best position to really make the biggest gain. He would jump into second place with this race, only being 14 points behind. But will he have to pit again? Softs are 6 laps old and there's about 7 laps to go. He will be struggling, and J-Mick only a 1.5 seconds behind. As you see, the mediums must still be doing well because Canadian just put in a fastest lap on 12 lap old medium. So.
Oh, he'll only be stolen up from TC moments later, who's on 19 lap old mediums. So that just hammers home your point even more.
Yeah, yes it does. So you know that the medium runners will comfortably get to the end. Like I said, J-Mick was on a really good strategy when I saw him shoot into the pits early in the safety car. It just came around at the perfect time. And yeah, he's definitely going to be in contention for a P2 at the very least. And you never know. He's not far off the cusp of... In that he's not far off that 5 second cusp that he needs to be for Canadian as well. We don't know what the stewards might say about Canadian's 5 second penalty, but on live standings, J-Mick, a win is not completely out of...
not out of the realm.
Yeah. Now he would really need to pick it up. Obviously, we're seeing Canadian set fastest laps, so he would need to start, really gaining in on Groovy. It would help him a lot if he had some the help of DRS, but we'll see if he's able to close in. He would need maybe Groovy Softs to fall off just a little bit more.
And I mention again, that must have been a stellar lap from TC, but 19 lap old mediums there.
Yeah, we didn't mention it, but Underrated got past Under, and if I remember correctly, Underrated finished P4 or P5.
Oh, and then
sets the fastest
and
lap.
Underrated sets the fastest lap now.
So I mean, it's been really cool to see this dude. Oh, whoa! He is. Oh my gosh, he is driving with some
Giving
confidence.
Giving it everything.
The way he just came across turn 1, he just clipped the corner, and his car was just like sliding turn 1, and he just kept it under control so well. Oh my gosh, that was, and he's on the hards as well. So yeah, he's driving with some confidence, and he's driving with some aggression here, because he thinks that he might be able to maybe get a podium if he can close in on J-Mick and Groovy.
Oh, as we have another DNFer routine. I think he's in the pits, though.
Yeah, Routine and Gustavo both DNFing. Oh no, somebody's stood still. You see at turn. Oh well, that was the previous one. Okay, so they didn't.
Oh, okay, he would be at turn 1. Yep.
So they didn't post it. No worries there. So we have 6 laps remaining. It's about to be the last 5 laps for Canadian, who has been leading this race. It feels like
J-Mix
comfortably.
DRS almost. Oh no, just loses DRS there.
Yeah, but he's closing in, and this is just.
Oh no,
what
he
we're
does have
talking
DRS.
about. Yes, sir, he does. Yeah, he does have the DRS.
So maybe them softs, like you mentioned, are starting to fall off just enough. J-Mick closing in, which we've seen him driving the wheels off tonight so far, but
yeah, can he stay close enough in these windy sections? It's so hard to be in the dirty air. He's kind of falling back, but he's staying just close enough. So we're gonna go into the first Degna. These quick combo of right-handers. I love those 2 corners. Those 2 corners are beautiful. Going into the hairpin now. In the wet, you've definitely got to lift. But in the dry, flat out into the braking zone. We got to remember that Groovy does have that 5-second penalty. So if J-Mick really wanted to, he doesn't have to make this pass, because Groovy's penalty was a speeding in the pits. So that's, you know, that one's not going to get reversed by anything. So
it's just so hard. You know how it is to give up, though.
Yeah.
If it was one lap left, then I could understand. But 5 laps, it's hard.
It is.
You know?
It is. No, I'm completely with you. I had so much restraint today in my league race. You know, I was just on the move, making overtakes.
By the way, congratulations.
Appreciate
nice
you.
job.
Making overtakes every lap, and then I get up to the last guy. And I'm like, wait a minute, this dude has like 10 seconds, like 12 seconds of penalties. Granted, I had 9, because Mexico is just a difficult ass track to not get penalized. But you know, yeah, sometimes you got to show a little restraint. But I think J-Mix gonna want to try to challenge for a win here.
Super close. I was about to say he is super. That is you're, correct. That is the difference, though, is he also has a potential chance of getting by and potentially challenge for the win if he's able to push.
He does still have the advantage on Canadian with the mediums. Canadians on 15 lap old, J-Mick on 11 lap old mediums. It's not a huge difference, but it could show in the field. We'll see. Underrated, kind of sticking around that 3-second gap. So I'm not sure if he's gonna really be a huge factor. Azure chilling in P5, Thunder in P6, Roulette in P7, Vapor in P8, TC still in P9, trying to catch up to maybe not Sir Vapor, try to just salvage something, and Milky in P10 right now. As we've had 7 DNFers, so everybody left will be receiving points. So as long as you keep your nose.
Oh, J-Mick is super close to the final chicane here.
Yeah, we'll see.
DRS down the straightaway.
Get Groovy already going pretty defensive, but I don't know. He looks a little bit too far away.
Yeah,
I think he doesn't have a ton of ERS to work with. No, he decides to keep it.
I think he had a bad exit there for sure, because he was close going in, and
he's still got time.
A little wide.
Whoa, J-Mick! J-Mick's gone off. Okay, no, it's lag. It's lag.
Yeah, that.
That
was scary for us.
I hope it.
If not, he has some of the greatest car control I've ever seen.
To keep it that close.
Yeah, with only 3 laps left to go. Yeah, Canadian still 4.7, almost 5 seconds in front.
Yeah,
Can
and so
J-Mick...
if we were to do the math here, J-Mick is about 5.3 seconds behind Canadian.
So he's gonna need a Lando at, was that Austria or?
Yeah, last lap Lando.
Yeah, he's gonna
needs
need
to get past Groovy. If he can get past Groovy, I think he can muster up enough pace to try and get within Canadian's 5 second. It's so close. We'll see. J-Mick might go for the move here.
Oh,
no,
I was
he
about to
pulls
say,
out. Decides to wait.
yeah,
Canadian gets another penalty. That might have just given J-Mick the win.
a
We'll see what
3-second
happens.
penalty for Canadian here.
Again, J-Mick doesn't get a good exit out of the final corner.
Yeah, he just has to.
Oh, but look at this. He's still going to be able to.
Though.
He still gets the move done.
Goes to the outside and tries to make
Groovy's still there. There's contact. There's contact.
J-Mick goes wide. He's still going to hold the inside line here. No, Groovy just goes ahead and takes on the outside, though.
Elbows out very hard racing there from Groovy and J-Mick. Groovy keeps the position. J-Mick needs to get this move done. He needs to get this move done.
All that fighting right there has cost them a little bit more time on Canadian, but obviously Canadians picked up another 3 seconds, but
the gloves must come off here, and also underrated is pretty damn close.
He's showing his nose in the picture as well, and he has kept it clean and no penalties. Yeah, J-Mick trying to stay in that toe here.
Yeah, only 3/10 away. He needs a good exit out of the final corner. If he needs to brake early, because yeah, he desperately needs to get the exit for that corner.
And they're almost dead even on ERS too, so this should be a good race right here.
Is he gonna go for it here? No,
J-Mick dips.
No, he's gonna stay.
He thinks about it, but yeah, it doesn't.
Here it is. This is the moment of truth right here. Oh, he gets a little bit squirrely out of the last corner. That might have just hindered him quite a bit.
He's got a
We've
big
seen
run
some great
coming.
defense from Groovy before.
Run. He's gonna think about going for it on the outside.
J-Mick closes the door this time. There's no way back for Groovy. J-Mick gets the move done on lap 26. Groovy gets on the curb and he almost spins.
Another caution. Milky is out of the race now as well. But so they're still green though.
No safety car, luckily, for the boys.
Yeah, Groovy's already fell back. He's already out of DRS. Most underrated is right there too. Now Groovy's in danger now of losing another position here.
Are falling off so quickly. 13-lap-old softs, and they're just not holding on. This is going to be a fight till the end for this last podium position. Underrated could get his first podium back in ROR, and he is right on the back. He's pushing Groovy along. He's so close. Has to back out a tiny bit. Also doesn't have much ERS to play with.
Yeah, he's super close. Still gonna hold this line here. Okay, so Groovy's not gonna have the DRS to help him here. Underrated.
And he's gonna be trying to kick the toe as soon as possible.
Yeah, Groovy is weaving left and right, trying to break it.
It's gonna be close enough. He's not. He also gets on the curb. He goes deep for turn 1. Has to avoid Groovy.
Yeah, big snap there.
This is the last lap, so he's gonna have maybe one or he's really gonna have probably the last chicane as his main opportunity to get this overtake done. Otherwise, Groovy will take home. Well, actually, no, he won't, because Groovy has a 5-second penalty as well, so things are gonna get shaken up with the penalties. And underrated, most likely, if he can just keep his nose clean, will bring home his first podium back in ROR.
Yeah, he's still right there.
And I was saying earlier. Oh, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying. I was mentioning earlier about Groovy. possibly picking up the most points, but that speeding in the pit lane really, really hurt him. And so
Yeah, that really could be costly.
yeah, so we'll see what happens here. So here comes the last straight. Will Underrated be able to maybe send one into the last chicane? He's giving
He's
it
gonna be super
everything.
close. He's going. Think about it. He tries to go
No.
back inside here. Groovy had to go to the defensive there, and he's not going to have a greatest run. No, he is going to have a good run out of the final turn. Not enough space, I don't believe, though. No, if the finish line was a little further down the straight, but what a great drive there for Underrated to get back on the podium.
So
And like you mentioned, though, J-Mick is going to jump in front, though, to take the victory.
and look at that. Somehow Azor's actually gotten ahead of Groovy. I'm not sure. Maybe there was a little bit of glitch with the 5 seconds, because I saw a few pop up for unserved penalties, and I don't know how they would have. They didn't have drive-throughs, so I don't really understand that. So there's a possibility, and they're both typing in chat, I think. But we will see.
Yeah, so a great drive from a lot of the boys there. J-Mick able to come back and take the dub. Underrated as well, first podium of the season. And Canadian, a familiar face on the podium.
So yeah, I think it'll be a little bit confusing with the position. So I think maybe we switch it up since we're later in the season. Let's switch it up and just do. Let's get J-Mick in here. Let's get Groovy in here. Let's get Underrated and Canadian. So we'll do a little bit of a. We'll get a few different viewpoints on the
Perspective.
race. Yeah. Groovy
You
got
did
them.
not.
Groovy
I
got
was
them
ahead of you.
elbows
I
out,
was
bro.
ahead of you going
It
into the
wasn't.
corner, sir.
It wasn't like bad, but it wasn't.
I made
It
this.
was. It was
It
a
wasn't.
little. It
It
was
wasn't like
elbows
the
out.
nicest,
It was
but yeah.
elbows out.
Is
No,
no
and
one
I was so
gonna?
disappointed because I
It was
wanted to
hard
squeeze you
racing.
off
It's
Yeah.
too. I
something
wanted
I
to
would
squeeze
have
you bad.
definitely done the same on a lap.
No, I wasn't too chapped. I was like, I'll just pass the next lap. You're slow.
Is no
Alright,
one gonna
so
touch on
Because
the
I
fact
had
that
old
I might
saucer. That's
steal
why. No, I
not
know.
the
I'm
lead?
not. I'm not talking shit on you. I'm just saying you were slow
so
because it was hard.
yo, I don't know who
The
Bro,
winner.
where was who finished? Like that's what I was trying to figure out. Who's even finished third
well, I don't
or
know.
what?
That's why I was doing most of
Who's
it
the
because
winner?
penalties
Who's
are
the
kind of.
winner, bro?
I think Canadian
I think
won. Is
Canadian won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian. I don't.
I hate to break
Oh
it.
yeah, underrated. Good drive too.
Oh yeah, I was already telling underrated to go for fast.
Did you guys see me spin under safety car?
Yes, I did.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Under the safety
You
car.
will laugh your ass
We've
off at
seen
my
you
reaction.
too underrated. Man, fuck, man. Why'd y'all
I
have
was
to do
just
that,
like,
bro?
I was
You don't have to
just like,
interview
oh.
me, but that penalty is being removed. So.
This nigga just came in here to tell me stuff. Jesus Christ.
I see the photo you're talking about, bro. That is crazy. Oh shit, man. Like that is
Are we
kind of
doing
crazy.
interviews?
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
report it. So go
Alright,
ahead.
so let's
Yeah,
so
I'm
let's
a
You
still
don't have to interview me.
so let's still pop it off with underrated.
Alright. Let's get this dude in. Alright, we're here with the post race interviews, and we're gonna start off with my man, who's on the first time podium this season, just got back into the game and stuff. Underrated. Walk us through some of them moves and that clean drive you had to get back up there.
Man, I don't even know. It's like I say it was pure luck because I spun on under this safety car and I thought I was done. Then another safety car came out and just got lucky, you know. It's part of the race.
Yeah, now we seen you spin under safety car and then lose. I think you were either in second or third place and lose many positions, but were able to make up the positions though and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kept the head down and kept going. I was about to retire, then Canadian told me to keep going. So props to him, I guess.
Yeah, that was a great drive from underrated. I mean, I was on board with you, and you were. I could just tell you were pushing your ass off. You were trying absolutely everything to try and get on the podium. So that was an entertaining drive from you. Hope to see you on
Yeah,
the podium more times in the season coming up.
Yeah, it looked like you were giving Groovy everything you could there at the very end.
Yeah.
But on to so we got to make a correction because yeah, most likely the 5 second penalty of Canadians will be removed. So Canadian more than likely is the winner of this race. Jamick ends up in second place. So we'll go on to Jamick next. Jamick kind
So,
of.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, Jamick, just go ahead and kind of run us through your race a little bit because yeah, you spun under safety car. We were on board with you when you spun under safety car. It was a head in hands moment. I kind of yeah, walk us through your race because it was somewhat eventful.
It was very eventful, yeah. Well, qualifying was really good. What was I, second? I didn't think I was going to do that. So I figured the start was going to be decent, and it wasn't. So through the first two laps, I dropped down to third, and then what was it, lap 7 or 8? I locked up before the hairpin and dropped down to like sixth, and then safety car, I came out and spun on the first turn, and then I went to go again and spun again. And then I basically just waited, and I figured there was going to be another safety car, but I pitted, and it put me on softs. I think that's why I spun, because it was really grippy all of a sudden. And I was really confused as to why it put me on softs, but I think that actually saved my race, because I was able to make up the time that I lost, and then another safety car came out, so I just went straight for mediums. And really, I just followed Groovy through. I used Groovy as almost a battering ram to get through everybody. Just followed him through, and then just followed him for the last 10 laps and got past him eventually.
Yeah, no, I mean, we
Yeah.
kind of mentioned in stream that, I mean, unfortunate that most likely the win will be taken away, but we were kind of mentioning how we were talking last night about how you really wanted to get a win this season. How does it kind of feel a little bit, does it take anything away that you'll probably end up P2, or are you just as
A little
happy
bittersweet.
with are you just as happy with the way you drove today?
I think it was honestly, like, without the spin, that was probably my best drive of the season. I only made 2 mistakes that entire race. And
Yeah, no, that was a brilliant drive.
yeah, I was fast the whole race pretty much. So, but no, it doesn't. I didn't celebrate it like a win, so it's not too much of a deal for me.
Oh,
Understood.
was that in the back of your mind when you were pushing on the last couple laps there? I think there was like 5 laps. Could you calculate and see that you had a shot at the win still?
Yeah, I pushed for a win, but honestly, the only reason I got a win was because of the seconds. I wouldn't have got one because of the 5. But I still didn't think of it as a win. I thought of it as a P2. I didn't win on track, so it doesn't feel like a win.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Good
Yeah.
mindset.
Oh, a great race nonetheless, and I mean you and Thunder pulled in a good chunk of points, so good for McLaren overall this week.
Where did he finish?
I think P5 or 6.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, sick.
Good finish for the McLaren boys.
But yeah, on the Canadian, I mean, I can't remember the stats, but I mean, since your return, you've been basically, challenging for wins. When you went into the pits under that you went in under the safety car. Did you think that putting on the mediums, were you like just
I was
hard
100%
set?
dead set on the mediums.
Okay,
Very
okay, so
confident on the mediums. People, most underrated and stuff were talking about hards, but I remember in testing I would pit about lap 10 and be able to make mediums last. And the safety car came in on lap 9, so it's only about a lap down with like 2 or 3% on the tires. So I was quite confident I could make it to the end of the race. Toward the end, though, I did notice that J-Mick was making quite the time on me. If you guys were on board with me, you noticed I started making quite the mistakes. I was at quite the tire wear. It was getting hard to keep that thing on track.
Well, yeah, we saw you put in a couple fastest laps, and then, yeah, when I went on with you, it looked like you were starting to struggle a little bit, like a couple laps after those fastest laps. So yeah, I noticed that a little bit.
Yeah, I really was going for those fastest laps, wanted to get all the points I could now that David wasn't here and Tails got taken out. It was my best shot at maybe getting into the championship contention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
I
good
mean,
drive though.
you're right up in there now with that win, and same with Groovy. We'll see where he ends up with the drivers' championship as well.
So
All
Canadian, you
like
feel
I
like
said,
them?
we will see where Groovy ends up with the drivers' championship. And yeah, no, that'll conclude it. We've got China next week.